My baby, I sent you a message days in the past, wherein I told you that something huge is happening behind your lower back, and now it's far officially started out. Yes, this particular component is making your private home vulnerable, due to the fact they're focused on your property. But I need you to understand this. No one lays a hand on what I've sanctified unless I allow it for my reason. It smiles being formed against you, though it smiles real and shifting hastily, will in no way prosper until I withdraw my hand, and I have not withdrawn it from you. They gather in silence and whisper in hidden locations, weaving snares, speaking in mystery tongues, plotting under the phantasm of darkness. But I, the Lord your God, dwell in unapproachable light. Not anything escapes my sight. I see each intention, every deception, every mask they wear when they come close to your domestic. Their eyes are packed with cunning, their palms with trickery. However, they're not greater than me. They assume they are hidden. They assume they move like shadows, but their hearts beat loud earlier than me. Their schemes are written within the open scrolls of heaven. I have now not neglected a single breath in their plotting. I see the conversations behind locked doors. I pay attention the footsteps in hallways they agree with you cannot input. I recognize the names of all who've nodded their heads in settlement, even people who put on smiles for your presence and hold daggers at the back of their backs. Yes, my toddler, some among them as soon as declare to like you. Some nonetheless say it, however their hearts are a long way from fact. Their loyalty is to their personal timetable, no longer to me, not to you, but concentrate intently. Even though the partitions of your private home feel thinner now, even though worry attempts to press in opposition to your door, do no longer permit it in. Maintain your eyes on me and remember what I've spoken over you from the beginning. Your living location isn't always just wood and stone, but it's miles protected with the aid of the blood I have provided. It's far guarded by angels who do now not sleep. There may be a hedge round you that can't be measured in earthly terms. They're targeting your home due to the fact they suppose they see weak point. However, what they may be virtually seeing is the next location of my glory. Yes, my glory. That is why the assaults have elevated. This is why confusion has attempted to settle over your mind, and chaos has attempted to creep into your environment. The enemy has seen what I'm getting ready within the spirit. I told you earlier the shift has started. And when I shift, everything now not rooted in me will tremble. Some of the shaking you sense isn't always an assault, it's far me, shaking unfasten what cannot continue to be, in order that what I've ordained will upward push. I know your heart, I realize your exhaustion, I realize you've got questioned why now, and why me, and have not I been trustworthy? Yes, child. I've visible your faithfulness in the quiet locations. I've watched your prayers rise like incense while no one else became around. I've visible your tears at the pillow, those you wiped away before anyone ought to be aware. I have heard the ache to your voice whilst you continue to selected to speak life. I've now not unnoticed any of it. This factor that has began this concentrated on, this strain, this religious hostility is no longer just about you. It is approximately the territory I'm providing you with. It smiles approximately the people I can attain through you. It's far about the legacy that your existence is laying. You are not truly underneath assault, you are underneath venture. And while a soul moves into divine challenge, hell reacts. But I am the Lord who is going before you. I am the Lord who stands behind you. I'm the hearth round you and the dignity inside you. And that I do now not go away my children to stand storms by myself. Permit me be clean what they imply for damage I'm able to use for step forward. The very weapon solid to break will become the tool I take advantage of to construct. They intend to shake your home into break, but I can shake it into alignment. They want to cast off you. However, I'm organizing you. What they're attempting in mystery may be uncovered in daytime. What they concept could be your collapse might be the very element that will become your elevation. I inform you now, my infant, do now not retaliate inside the flesh. Do now not solution their slander with slander with slander. Do no longer use the weapons they use, for they may be underneath your calling. I'm education your arms for battle. However, your war isn't against flesh and blood. I am establishing your eyes to a higher battlefield in which principalities battle towards your future. Stand company. Put on the armor I have given you. Do now not eliminate the breastplate of righteousness when they assault your character. Do now not drop the shield of faith whilst fiery arrows come rapid. Do now not take off the helmet of salvation while lies try and invade your thoughts. They clothed in me. Stay rooted in my word. Preserve your feet grounded in peace, even when the storm howls loud. Do you trust me, baby? No longer just while the blessings float, however while the ground is shaking. Do you agree with I'm with you, even if the silence seems lengthy? I assure you, I'm talking now. I will no longer permit this issue to continue past what I have authorized. You must endure for a little whilst, for in due time I'm able to reveal all. And once I do, justice will not be delayed. There's a gavel in heaven, and it's going to strike. I am raising you to look from better ground. The vision you had before turned into now not incorrect. However, now I'm refining it. What turned into blurry turns into sharp. You thought it turned into just a domestic, but I say it smiles a stronghold within the spirit. You idea it was just safety, but I say it's far a place of birthing. You concept it turned into just an assault, however I say it's far a revealing. I'm exposing what cannot stroll with you into your next season. I'm uncovering what is lingered in the shadows for too lengthy. This isn't a setback, it's far a separation. You have got cried for readability. Now I supply it. You have got cried for deliverance. Now I send it. However, deliverance does now not always come as a whisper. It frequently comes as a typhoon. The hurricane comes now not to spoil, however to show the foundation. And I am displaying you that your foundation is more potent than you knew. You aren't fragile. You aren't abandoned. You are not stressed. You are not forsaken. You are selected. You are hidden in me. And because of that, not anything they do can have the very last phrase. I will have the final phrase. So remain trustworthy. When the knocks come to your door and also you sense something isn't always right, agree with the discernment I have positioned in you. When someone enters your area and your spirit feels disturbed, do not doubt that sign. I'm sharpening your sensitivity for a cause. You aren't being paranoid. You're being organized. You aren't imagining it. You're being skilled. You are becoming the watchman at the wall, now not just for your household, however for plenty who will come to drink out of your nicely. My toddler, you've got asked why humans emerge as jealous of one another and why they do no longer remember that I'm watching. This mystery has stretched across generations, buried deep in the hearts of men since the starting. I will communicate evidently due to the fact you ought to understand what is going on round you and inside the hearts of those you stumble upon. And that I communicate now not handiest to expose, but to cleanse, to warn, to comfort, and to put together. Jealousy is not born in a second. It starts evolved as a whisper, a shadow, a look. It starts evolved small, a seed planted within the soul while evaluation takes root. When a character lifts their eyes and sees what another has, whether or not it smiles peace, joy, want, recognition, love, or provision, and instead of rejoicing, they begin to ache. That pain, while not brought earlier than me, festers, however mutates into resentment. And resentment, whilst nursed in mystery, becomes jealousy. That jealousy darkens the eyes of the soul. It blinds the coronary heart to its own blessings and turns attention fully toward another's lifestyles. They see what I had given you, and rather than asking, what am I able to analyze from this lifestyles, they ask, why them and no longer me. They trust they're hidden when they speak sick and personal, but I pay attention each notion, every murmur, each sigh of bitterness that will become a typhoon of accusation. They wear masks of politeness while their hearts scream with envy. And although they will fool others, they do not fool me. Jealousy is ancient. It became there inside the lawn. While Cain looked upon his brother Abel and noticed that his imparting thrilled me, his coronary heart burned no longer with a hunger for righteousness, but with a rage towards want. He did now not question me what pleased me. He did now not humble himself. He blamed his brother instead. And in that second jealousy have become murder. I warned him. I said, sin is crouching at your door, its choice is for you. but you must rule over it. However, he would now not concentrate. And so I communicate again generation after era, rule over it, or rule over jealousy, rule over bitterness, or rule over the desire to compete and evaluate and destroy. However, they do not concentrate, because pleasure blinds, ego deafens, and of their fantasy they think I do now not see. They forget who I am. I am no longer a far-off observer. I'm not eliminated from the information of your lifestyles or theirs. I'm now not best gift within the excessive places of worship. I am within the hidden places of the heart. I see when they curse you in silence. I see after they lie with a smile. I see after they want in your downfall, even as pretending to prey on your eyes. And I am no longer mocked. What a man sows he shall obtain. But pay attention this, my infant, jealousy is a reflection of absence. It smiles, the symptom of a coronary heart not rooted in me. For if they in reality knew me, if they trusted my love and my timing, if they abided in my word and my presence, they could not desire what belongs to another. They might now not see your blessing as their loss. They could not see your elevation as their humiliation. They might remember the fact that my prefer isn't restrained, that my love is not to opposition, and that each soul has its own cause, its own direction, its very own component in me. However, they do now not recognize, due to the fact they have got no longer made me their treasure. They look to others to measure their worth. They build their identity on unstable matters, interest, titles, possessions, admiration. And while the one's things are threatened, their insecurity erupts into envy. They see you walking in what they had been praying for, and in preference to rejoicing, they accuse me of forgetting them. They are saying, God, why him? Why her? Have you now not seen my hard work? Have you ever not seen my tears? And I have, but I do now not bless based totally on striving. I bless in step with my will, my awareness, and my ideal time. They do no longer see your sacrifice. They do now not see the nights you wept in secret, the hours you wore in prayer, the charge you paid in obedience. They see handiest the floor, and yet they envy the fruit, no longer know how the cost of the root, and nevertheless they sin. Even while knowing I see, why? Due to the fact many renown me with their lips, however their hearts are a ways from me. They speak of reverence, but they do now not fear me. They recite my phrases, but they do no longer post to them. They have made faith a performance, not a posture. They consider I'm actual, however they stay as even though I am powerless. They confess my call, however their lives remain their own. And while the coronary heart isn't always surrendered, sin will become easy. It turns into familiar. It becomes justified. They justify their jealousy through calling it difficulty. They justify their bitterness by way of claiming betrayal. They justify their manipulation by means of pronouncing they are shielding others. But I weigh the coronary heart. I see what lies underneath the words. I recognize the purpose in the back of each action. I'm no longer deceived through language. I'm not swayed by an air of mystery. I'm no longer blinded through look. I seek the coronary heart, and that I take a look at the mind to give each soul in line with its methods. You ask, why do they no longer worry me? Due to the fact they have made me small of their very own eyes. They have got created a version of me that tolerates rise up, that winks at envy, that blesses ambition. They do not know me. They understand an idol fashioned by means of way of life, via comfort, by means of compromise. The genuine worry of the Lord, the awe that brings trembling, the reverence that brings repentance has been misplaced in many hearts. And yet, I am nonetheless right here, calling, caution, whispering, convicting. And now I'm knocking at the doorways of hearts who've grown bloodless. I do not choice the death of the sinner. I do not have fun in the destruction of the resentful. I lengthy to restore, to heal, to renew. But many will now not listen. They decide on the sound in their personal voices. They opt for the flattery of man to the subject of God. And so that they stay in cycles bound, bitter, broken. However now not you, My child, you've got selected a distinctive direction. You have wrestled together with your very own soul. You have got come before me with trembling in fact. And that is why they goal you. No longer simply due to what you have got, however, because of who you are getting in me. Your mild disturbs their darkness. Your peace confronts their chaos. Your surrender exposes their manage. Your desire reminds them in their put off. And nonetheless I name them, even the ones who mock you, even those who scheme, even those whose hearts have grown tough. I nonetheless love them. I nevertheless call them. I nevertheless wait for them. Due to the fact I'm patient, I'm lengthy suffering. However, do not mistake my patience for permission. Do no longer confuse my mercy with apathy. There's a time while I'm able to act, an afternoon when every hidden thing can be found out. That is why I say shield your coronary heart. Do now not permit their jealousy to turn into your pride. Do not permit their bitterness end up your bitterness. You are known as to upward push above. You are not referred to as to contend with flesh, however to live inside the spirit. And in the spirit you are seated with me, a long way above every earthly attack. From that area speak blessing, now not curse. From that region pray for them no longer to show your goodness, however to stay in my likeness. For on every occasion you adore and return for hate you align with heaven. On every occasion you forgive while wronged you take part in my redemption. Each time you live silent whilst falsely accused you walk the direction of my son. Do not repay evil with evil. That is the manner of the world. I'm schooling you in a higher way. Now listen this. Individuals who walk in jealousy aren't past wish. A few are tormented by wounds they've in no way spoken of. A few have been by no means taught how to have fun for others. A few were disregarded so long they cannot endure see someone else seen. Assist you to, my baby, have the possibility to reveal them a higher manner now, not through phrases by myself, however through example. Allow them to see the mild in you and be convicted. Allow your joy confuse their expectations. Let your peace pontificate louder than argument. Allow your person screen my presence. And once they mock, maintain standing. Once they accuse, keep praying. When they twist your intentions, maintain your attention on me. I am your vindication. I'm your defender. I am your praise. And I will not permit your obedience to be useless. Sure, many sin due to the fact they assume judgment is some distance off. They agree with time is on their aspect. What I say, the day is coming. The fireplace will take a look at each man's work. The secrets and techniques can be shouted from rooftops. The motives can be weighed, now not by way of public opinion, however with the aid of eternal reality. And I will now not decide as man judges. I can now not excuse what Guy excuses. I will no longer forget about what Guy ignores. My throne is established in righteousness and justice. Even now I'm shaking the systems of Guy. I'm disrupting the comfort of complacency. I am tearing down idols of reputation, of strength of self. I'm elevating up a remnant who will walk in holiness, who will now not bow to jealousy, who will now not stay with the aid of evaluation, who will no longer settle for imitation, but who will are seeking my face on my own. You are a part of that remnant, and the hearth of jealousy will not consume you, it'll refine you. You should no longer fear their numbers, for even if many oppose you, I am still extra. Do not be anxious when they seem to prosper. I see the full picture. What they gain without me they will lose. What they build without me will crumble. However you, in case you build on me, your own home will stand. Now come close. Permit me remind you, you are loved, now not for what you do, however for who you're in me, you're seen. And whilst others overlook, I see, you're held. Even if others abandon, I maintain. And you're sent no longer simply to bear, but to transform atmospheres. Where there may be envy deliver fact. In which there is slander carry silence. Where there's competition, bring relaxation. There is fear carry religion. You are not like them due to the fact you're mine. And if you live in me not anything they do can shake what I have spoken. Walk forward not to show yourself but to expose me. And remember, I'm looking not in anger however in love. I am looking now not to capture you failing however to steer you forward. And I'm looking them too, not to destroy but to rouse. Nonetheless their time is brief. And so I call you be light inside the midst in their darkness, be love in the face in their hatred, Be holy as I am holy. The time is near. The road is being drawn. Jealousy will not stand in the day of fact. Only love stays. Simplest. What's built on me will ultimate. Pick out my way. Live in my will. And understand this mainly, I am with you. I see all. I leave out nothing. And in the long run I always win. Now pass. Walk in boldness. And hold your eyes on me. Amen.